So how's it going, YouTubers? Iceman 22ST coming to you from Grampa's garage. Been out here for a few hours today. A little sluggish getting going, but had the engine in and out two times. And the original mounts I was making aren't going to work, so I've started fabricating new ones, and I think they're going to work a little bit better. The ones I did have to use are these ones here. They were fairly robust. They're actually like a transmission mount, a lot bigger than I needed, and they would have worked for me, I think, if I'd had enough room. But what I'm going to do instead, though, is cut a couple pieces of tubing, substantially smaller, and I've got some good heavy-duty bushings that will be pressed inside of those. So I've got them so it's hard to do holding, but they will fit in there. And so what I'm basically going to do is mount these sideways. I'll show you on the driver's side here. I'm going to use, there's some holes on the block here that I'm going to use. See if I can get a little more light on it here. There's the plates, and with the expansion, which I needed anyway because the plate doesn't line up. And I'm going to make a bracket off of there and mount these like that, and then I'm going to have two flat brackets that are going to go down, or one U-shaped bracket that'll come down, and then that'll sit there. So I think that's going to work. There's basically the motor sitting in the chassis. Come around here. I'll show you how the notch worked out good. Motor is actually still hanging, and it's going to be shifted over a little bit. And as you can see, it's still tilted a bit. So once I get it leveled up, it should be okay. And I measured the drive shaft length, and the shifter hole is going to line up almost exactly where I need it, and within 1/4 of an inch. And I also through one of my two magnetic my angle locators. I threw one of them on the pinion to see what angle it was at, and it was 1.5 degrees, and I confirmed it by having AJ read it as well. And so it turns out that when I get the engine sitting almost where I think I wanted it, it turned out to be about I thought it was 2.5 degrees, but then I realized I hadn't put the weight on the chassis, and the transmission was still sitting up a bit. So when I lowered it down, I put some temporary blocks in and got it where I thought I wanted it. And I'm sitting at just about 1.5% or 1.5 degrees, so I think I'm going to be good there. And the original drive shaft doesn't even have to be cut. It slips right into the 5-speed transmission I'm using. The yokes are the same, so that's going to be good. And I threw a quick coat of primer on the mounts and on the frame where I notched it there, just to stop it from rusting. I just threw some rattle can primer on it just to minimize the exposure, because the motor's going to be in and out a few more times anyway. And original plates that I was going to use, they're way too much, 1/4 of an inch thick. So AJ, I made new patterns and gave them to AJ, and he's going to take them to work and get his programmer to program it in, and then he's going to cut it off on the plasma table for the plates for both sides of the block. And I changed them slightly because the original one was hitting a boss on the side of the block that was just sticking out a little bit. I could have ground the boss down. It was such a small interference fit, but if I ever changed blocks or engines and went with another motor like this, that boss is likely going to be there. So I thought I'm likely better off just to make them out. So it just needed a little bit of a slight modification by 1/4 of an inch on one side. There I go with shit for brains. Just gonna show you one more. Show you something. Just time out for a minute. Sorry about that, guys. Couldn't find the screwdriver I was going to show you, but a couple of weeks ago, Greg Porter was fidgeting and fighting to put the headlights into his Carmen Ghia there, and trying to use a screwdriver and well, you all know what Phillips screwdrivers are like to try and put a screw on the end of it. If the screw's got any wear or the screwdriver has any wear, it's not going to work. Now I have 2 of these. It's a screw holding screwdriver, and the one I've got in my hands, I'm going to show you, is this one's for slotted screws, and I have one for Phillips as well. And basically all you've got to do is you put the screw on, and then this will open up when you push on it, and when you got the screw in there, it comes back and it bites, and it will hold the screw with the little jaw. So when you're trying to put it in through a tiny slot or something, you can get it in and get it started, and then you can either pull this back to to release the screw, or the screw will just pop out when once it starts biting. I've had several occasions where I've used these, and I'll tell you, they are lifesavers. I also have the type that it's actually got like a cam in it for slotted screws. Works well, but I was hoping to find the Phillips one to show you, because that's what most of you guys are going to be dealing with. But this is a Craftsman. It's a Craftsman screwdriver, and it's called a screw holding, or screw holding. And this is an old one, so the old number is likely not good anymore, but it's 41123 HWF, so I don't know what the HWF stands for, holding what the fuck or something, I don't know. But if you ever have occasion to have to do that on a regular basis, where you're feeding holes into narrow slots or that, it's a handy tool to have, I'll tell you. It's paid for itself several times for me. I just can't find where my Phillips one is. Mind you, my screwdrivers are all messed up, so it's amazing I can find any of them right now. And of course my screwdriver drawers are overflowing. Well. There we go. Get back to where there's some light, and I'll see if I can find a Phillips screw. Miscellaneous screws. My luck, they'll all be Robertson, which is another thing you guys kind of missed out on. These are all Robertsons. Oh, I think I found a Phillips. No, that's Robertson as well. Well, I can likely demonstrate it with a Robertson, because it'll still fit into the hole. So it'll kind of give you the idea of how it would work. I'll just find a place to put the camera down for a second here. Okay, there you go. And there's the Phillips, and it's the same kind of thing. So all you do is you'd put it on, and then part of the problem, I guess, is I happen to grab a flathead. But there we go. And this one's slightly different because it has this little collar that you can slide up, and basically it will hold your screw for you so you get it into place. Just a solution that I had years ago on one of the vehicles I was working on. Felt good to get out in the shop again today. The last couple of weeks, with having the minus 30 weather and minus 40, minus 42 wind chill, I just couldn't be bothered firing up the stove and trying to get it warm. I had a fire going for about 3 or 4 hours, and I only got the garage up to like +7, which is 1445, something like that. But I'm pleased with the the little bit of results I got going here, and it's we're going to get the same goofy weather that HPR was getting the other day with we've been cold, and then right now it's think it's minus 18 out right now. The garage is plus 50 Fahrenheit. And I choked the fire down probably an hour ago. So it's been nice, and with the wind chill it's about minus 25 or so. But tomorrow we're supposed to go up to plus 3, and then 0 on Thursday, and then I think Friday they're calling for plus 4 or plus 5. You know, stupid weather. You know, normally we have 2.5, 3 feet of snow in the yard, and I bet you we don't have 3 inches. The snow always seems to make it feel warmer. I don't know why, but you know, if it's cold and the grass is showing, you know, minus 10 or something, it feels cold. But minus 10 with snow on the ground just doesn't seem to feel as cold for some reason. And I think I'll let you go. I'm going to try and start doing videos without a bunch of editing, because I can spend hours fiddling and farting around trying to get my shit for brains sections out, and I'm just not going to do that as much. If it's real bad, I'll take it out or just not show the video, but things have been going pretty good today. The motor's sitting there. AJ's going to cut those pieces maybe tomorrow. It was tomorrow being Wednesday. He was hoping to come out tomorrow and spend the evening here helping me with the car a little bit. You know, just come and spend some time with the old man, which that's always fun. And then this weekend we had Brad. Brad was out because his wife Allison started her seven days of night shift. So on Saturday and Sunday he comes out, brings the kids. That allows her to sleep during the day, so it's not so noisy. And that was good. And then yesterday, you know, Monday, as it turns out, Shavara, our youngest grandchild, her daycare was closed tomorrow, and they didn't. AJ and Jess didn't realize it, so. When Amber, you know, she gets dropped off here first thing in the morning when Jess is going to work, because the daycare isn't open when she's going through to go to work. And Amber went to take her over to the daycare, and it was closed for the day. And I guess you know, for whatever reason they hadn't noticed. So I got up, I guess, about 7:45, which didn't help because I haven't been sleeping well, and I've been up till 5 or 6, so I got maybe 2 hours of sleep. And I got up and watched Shavara for a couple of hours, and then Kyle was home because he's not working right now, so I figured, you know, he can earn his keep a little bit, and so he watched her for a few hours, and then I watched her from, you know, made her lunch, and then she got picked up around 2 o'clock. Just had a fantastic time. You know, a lot of fun. We played ball. Got the big red ball, and she found the air valve on it. So she'd ask what it was, and she's going to be 2 this week. So she'd ask what it was, and I would say it's the valve to put air in the ball. And she'd rotate the ball around once and get back to the valve like it was a brand new valve. And what's this? You know, what is it? It's the valve. And she seemed happy with that, and she'd roll it around again. And what's this? That's the valve. You know, she did that about 8 or 10 times. Then she'd throw the ball, and you know, I'd throw it back, and had a lot of fun with her. You know, she's just a little sweetheart. Unfortunately, she didn't have her glasses because they broke last week, so she was having a little bit of trouble coordinating with the ball. But she got it. and would fire it back at me and had a good time and chased the dogs all over the place. And you know, they're really good and patient with her. So that kind of wiped out yesterday. And then today I figured, no, come hell or high water, I was going to come out here and do something on the car. So I did. Pulled the engine out and took the brackets off I'd made and the mounts that I'd put on, and made measurements and templates and put it back in and double checked things, and then took it back out again and measured and did some other stuff and put it back in again and took it out, and thought, well, I wasn't going to do it too many more times, so I figured good time as any to throw a rattle can coat of primer on there. So I just had some red oxide that I threw on it. And with that on there, it'll minimize how much it rusts. And then I put it back in again, and measuring to make sure the drive shaft would be about right. And you know, and one of the times that it was in and out, I was measuring the drive shaft angle, or the pinion angle, and the output shaft angle on the transmission, to try and get them in as close alignment as possible to minimize any chance of driveline vibrations. Anyway, I'm talking and talking and talking, and this is going to be a short one, and now it's looking like it's 22 minutes, so I'm going to call her quits here and take it easy and have a good one. Talk to you tomorrow.